It's Elvis's birthday week, and there's a fascinating book about his life that looks at why the world lost him August 16th, 1977, when he was just 42 years old.
The book is called Destined to Die Young. Author Sally Hodel offers factual and scientific data to support her claim that Elvis Presley was never going to live a long life, and she joins us this morning. Sally, thanks for being with us.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
So what scientific data do you have access to that we wouldn't have heard of all these years later?
Well, first of all, this book really is a reversal of his family tree. So it is, tying in these facts that we've known for a long time. We know that Elvis died at 42. We know that his mother died at 46, and that's always been kind of romanticized that he died at a similar age to his mother. But when we study his family tree, we realize that Elvis's maternal grandparents were first cousins, and that doubling of the gene pool, so to speak, created a lot of issues for Gladys and her siblings. She had, three brothers who also died in their 40s and early 50s. One of them from heart and liver related issues. And when we see what happened to Elvis, it really stops being a coincidence and it leads to something. So that study of just connecting those dots along with, medical records and the autopsy report and things that we know that Elvis suffered from, and then being able to trace them throughout his family. He really was a very ill man by the time he passes in 1977.
Yeah, you mentioned ADD, which was not a phrase back then, and he was an insomniac. Was there evidence of these things in the autopsy? Because I thought that was private. Were you able to access that?
Yeah, there are people who have access to that report, and I was privileged to quite a bit of that information. And again, it's just connecting those dots. We know from the autopsy that he was a carrier for something called alpha-1 antitrypsin deficiency, which can affect the lungs or the liver. So that now clearly explains Gladys's liver-related death. And again, we can trace that up her maternal line and see where that came from. But yeah, Elvis suffered from disease or disorder in 9 of the 11 systems of the body. And for decades, that has been written off as the end result of the prescription medication problem, which did become a problem. What helped in the beginning did become a problem. But again, my research shows that there is evidence of at least 5 of those being present prior to fame and most likely since birth. So really, it started out for Elvis as self-medicating. And like you said, it was, he did suffer probably from ADD, which wasn't understood at the time. And then insomnia, was what we think of as kind of a simple ailment he had from a very young age, could never achieve restful sleep without medication. And again, that became a problem once he became Elvis Presley.
So a lot of you say that a lot of his internal organs were very enlarged, and you think this is all a genetic thing, or is that something that happened to him as he lived his life a certain way?
I think that the Elvis of 1957 is just as ill as the Elvis of 1977. You just can't see it yet. These diseases do manifest themselves over time. And we know that. We know that his colon problem created a lot of issues for him and a severe amount of pain. And he talks about it, in 1971, when he still looks like the Elvis that we expect him to look like. Right. So it was a problem then, and we have it on record as a problem in high school and a problem as a child. So we know it was a lifelong issue. And
he was surrounded by enablers. Did medical science advance enough that they could have helped him with this problem had he gotten the appropriate treatment at the time?
Well, he had, several doctors, some that were not good for him. And,
right.
But his main doctor, Dr. Nick, was always trying to figure out what was wrong with him. And it was a delicate line because he did become a friend. So that line between friend and physician was absolutely blurred. And that is a problem. But Elvis had 3 main hospital stays, and he leaves each hospital stay knowing there's more wrong with him than what he went in with, because they were constantly running tests, trying to figure out what's wrong with his liver. Why is he bloating like this? Well, how can we fix his colon issue? They were constantly trying to address those things. Elvis knew how ill he was. His doctor knew how ill he was. It was kept a secret from most of the guys around him because it's 1970s and he wants to be a strong male, and Elvis isn't just their friend, he's their boss. So a lot of this was kept secret for that reason.
But prescriptions, everyone thought he died of it was mostly linked to prescriptions. You say that's just one component, or is it a component?
Oh, it's certainly. It was not a healthy lifestyle that Elvis led towards the end, especially. Yeah. And what this book does is explains that. The real question is, why did Elvis turn to prescription medication in the first place? It's a really important question, and it's never been asked and it's never been answered before this. So yeah, all of that, definitely is not good for him. However, I would say in the last couple of years, he couldn't have been Elvis Presley without the medication. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. The things that he's taking because he needs to, they all have tolerance issues, addiction issues. So he needs more over time for them to work, and that becomes a problem. So it's all a, kind of a contradiction in terms, but both things are true. Elvis had a prescription problem, a problem with prescription medication, but he also needed the prescription medication to be Elvis Presley.
Sally, thanks for joining us. For more, check out elvisauthor.com. You can find Sally on Instagram and Facebook.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great day.